I am Neha, and this is my Can I Have It All story. One thing that I firmly believe in is the growth doesn't come alone. And you would grow only when you help others grow around you. So it's always important to participate in others' growth. And others can be a leader, a colleague, or a junior. It is applicable for all the people around you. And if I have to take an example, a very basic example is if you're doing a presentation, don't do the presentation on just to communicate what you think or what your point of view is. Do the presentation keeping the audience in mind and how they are going to utilize your point of view. One way of looking at it is when you are assigned to a project which doesn't align with you being a night person or a morning person, and you're expected to work in the hours when you biologically are not ready to work during those hours. And at that point in time, it's important to give your body and mind time to align with that change and don't force yourself, right? And you'll have to consciously think about how do you help your body and mind align with it by working out the right time to sleep, giving your mind as well as your body enough rest. Another life event happens when you get married or you start bringing up a family. That is another step where you have to align your biological and career clock by very clearly, explicitly mentioning what your needs are. Unless you say it, although the entire world has seen it, but they might not understand. The group around you will not understand. So it's extremely important to voice out what works for you and what are your needs. Unless you bring that schedule for yourself, it wouldn't be easy for anybody around you to map to your schedule. If you have certain schedule to put your baby down to sleep, make it clear that's my schedule to do it. So this is an interesting topic, and particularly I am not very keen about the phrase work-life balance and how it's perceived. It is achievable, without a doubt. It is achievable, and now the question is in anybody's mind, how do we achieve, or how do I measure that I've achieved it? So let's take an example or go back to your memory lane and remember the day when you were trying to ride a bicycle, when you're learning how to ride a bicycle. During that phase, you didn't had any kind of instrument or meter right there which said that now you have achieved the balance, right? You actually understood that when you were able to control the speed, you were able to apply the brake, you were able to paddle with enough intensity, and you then knew that things are balanced now, so I can control my cycle. One thing that in general I'm saying that organizations should keep in mind that you do not just create inclusive groups with diverse folks only. For example, you do not only have women diversity driving the women diversity initiative and inclusion initiative. It's important to bring in the male ally and the perspective, which will make it wholesome. And second important thing is, though there are multiple programs that can be launched, it's equally important to measure the outcome regularly. Unless you're measuring the outcome regularly, you might be making impact, but you would not be able to assess what is making those impact. So it's important to continuously measure the outcome of the inclusion and diversity programs that are corporate run. I would take an example of my mother. My mother has been a working person all through her life. And there was a point in time when one evening she came and asked me and my elder brother, do you think Mama should continue working or shall I leave the job and focus on both of you? From both me and my brother, the answer was a resounding no. We said that we are very proud of a working mother and we are extremely happy that you work, and whatever time you're devoting with us is good, and we are happy with it. And that's something that we did at a very early age, and that's how we answered to my mother. And I think that was ingrained in me as I was growing up this entire phase of corporate ladders as well. And the same support I see from my family. So yeah, it is important that your family and your surrounding gives you the right impression of what it takes to be a working woman. And they need to understand equally that there will be times when they will not be around, and there will be times when they will just deliver 1 hour of quality time for you. And that quality is much more important than measuring the availability of somebody around you for a longer time. I cannot make enough underlines on how important a mentor is in your career and how important your network is. Mentoring is extremely key, and it's not important that you have just one mentor who you follow through, but you will have to develop the network of mentors who can give you the recommendations and right perspective to understand the point that you're trying to understand, right? So for example, if I am trying to get into a business discussion and trying to understand what are the market trends running right now, I would definitely go to a person who can mentor me in that skill. Though there are scenarios where I also seek and go out to a mentor who help me to understand that how can I not just think about work even in my sleep. I need to break that behavior and be more balanced in my life. So it's important to grow network of mentors, and mentor mentee relationship nowadays have become more symbiotic. We learn from each other. That is important, that you keep learning, keep observing others and learning from them, and be very clear in your intents and ask to a mentor as well. If you really want to reap benefits from that mentor mentee relationship, clearly ask that these are my challenges and how do I grow or come out of this challenge. Another important piece that I personally feel it's important when you are working with a mentor is not to get a mentor from your direct reporting chain in your organization, because uh, uh, there will be certain perspective that they will come with, because you're already working in that reporting chain. You might have already established really good rapport, right? But if you want honest feedback, honest observations, action points, try to find a mentor who's not in your direct reporting chain. uh, about the circle of people around you, it's extremely important. I personally run a very dedicated program in my organization also, which actually talks about how do you develop this circle of people who you can depend on and rely on to get the right help. It is important for your growth as well when you talk about networking with the right set of people around you, because by networking you would know what are the possible different perspectives you have, which you have never thought of. It is obvious that there will be failures, but don't be afraid to fail. If you and why do we really become afraid of failures? Because we think that it would generate certain kind of perception about us. It would how would I come out of that situation? I don't know. So the don't knows actually cause the stress and the fear against failure. So come over that. There will be failures, but look past that initial reaction of when you hit a failure and take actions on how do I now fix it. Don't feel bad or guilty about it, because the good part about perception is it keeps changing. So if today you have failed, with a success you will change the perception. So your next step is to now change that perception with a success.